Hey guys, it's Abby here. Let's go over how we uncase this ET-15000 and remove the mainboard. First thing I did was I'm working on one side of the printer, and I took out the screw from the front of the side panel, and I'm taking out two screws from the back of the side panel, one on the bottom and one on the top of the back. Then I'm going to open up the scanner again, and with this I wasn't able just to push backwards to slide out the side panel. The way I did it was I lifted up a little bit on the side panel and then pushed backwards to release that side panel. Alright, and then we're going to do the same thing with the other side panel. It's going to have another 3 screws. So there's the one screw on the top and the front, and then we can turn the printer to the side. There's going to be the screw on the bottom and the back, and then we're going to take out the screw from the top. Now with this one, it does have another screw, but that screw comes from the waste tank area. And this screw is like a flat, it needs a flat screw head. So you will need a different type of screwdriver or a drill for that. But we'll take that small waste tank cover off first, and then there's going to be a screw that's holding in that waste tank cover. Alright, so flip back to your other drill and pull out that waste tank cover. Mine might not have had a screw in it, or I might have already taken it out before. So now that the waste tank's out, you will be able to slide out this other side cover, and it's the same thing. Lift up a little bit and slide out. So disassembling this printer or opening it up is very similar to opening up the ET-2000 style printer. It has this long back panel that has a screw right above where the hinge is on your scanner. And for me, I found that it was easier to actually take the scanner top off and then take off that back protective panel over the main board and the duplexer area. So here's where I flip to the other side, and you see there's our power box on there and the main board. So I lifted up that back protective long cover, and here's where the FFC cables from the scanner, and there is going to be a cable that comes from the scanner as well, connects into the main board. So we want to go ahead and detach those to release the scanner from the actual main board. Now that that is released, I'm going to go ahead and twist the blue support from the scanner out of the actual scanner itself, and then I can take a hold of the scanner and push it to the left off of the hinges, and it will release the scanner for me. And so from this point where I was able to take off that back protective panel, and I was able to see the PSD assembly, the main board, our duplexer, and everything. And this assembly again has a metal, I'll call it like an L shape sort of, that covers the main board to the rail. So I used the drill for the two screws towards the back of the main board, but the front facing screw on the rail, I did need to use this like corner bent, I don't know what we would call that, I don't know the exact technical name, but I did need to use this like bent screwdriver to help me release that screw. And so there's going to be another screw here. Just if you find any resistance when you're trying to pull something out, look from a couple different angles to see if anything is being locked down in place. So now we have a lot easier access to lift the main board out, but before we do that, we do need to detach any of the cables and connections that are to the board. So with these bigger FFC cables here, they are double-sided taped together, so be careful when you take them apart. It's not that big a deal because later on when I put another one in, I do take the tape apart a little bit just to be able to reach the boards. But yes, there is also screws holding this board in into place, but as of right now I'm just trying to disconnect as many wires and cables that I can see before I'm going to go ahead and unscrew the board. Usually these main boards have 3 screws in them, one in that top left corner and one in the top right corner. With this one, again, I had to use this bent screwdriver is what I'm going to call it. I don't know the technical name for it, sorry. But I'm going to use that one just because I could not get my actual drill through that duplexer area. And sometimes there's also another screw right in the middle of the main board there, but I didn't see it in this one, at least in this video. So here I can start to lift out my main board, and if I see any smaller connections at the bottom, that's where I can try to detach. So here I'm noticing that there's a resistance in my way that's making it hard to take the main board out. So I'm taking out this little white cap in my way, sort of, to just try to make more space to release the main board. And I called it a white cap, but the white cap there is more so just holding the power supply wire. So I'm just loosening it up. On the back of these main boards, there's also a sticky pad that sticks to the metal rail on the back. It sticks to it. So that also is going to give you a bit of resistance when you try to pull off the board, which is different from some other main boards that you work with. So that will give you a little bit of resistance. So we're putting in another main board, and we're trying to hook up some cables and connections. Now here again, this is where I'm talking about that double-sided tape. Here's the power wire that I pulled out of that little white cap area to make space. So now I'm just trying to put things back the way I found them, to make things fit back in the correct way and also power on the correct way. If I was you, I would not put your screws in until very last, once you have almost all of your connections in and everything. These 2 larger FFC cables here that come in from the left side into the main board has that double-sided tape on it here. So that's where I broke it up a little bit into trying to fit them both in at the same time. And as you can see, you might plug something in, but it might be in the way of getting something else in, so you might unplug that while you plug something else in, and just try a bunch of different methods on what to plug in first to make it easier for your hand to fit in that space, and just work with all the cables and connections, right? And once we get everything back online, that's when we're going to go ahead and put our screws back in, and basically follow our steps backwards, right, of putting on that cover with our scanner, plugging the scanner in, putting on our side covers, and putting the screws back in. So, oh yeah, also go ahead and remember to put on that metal L over your main board to keep things in place. But I hope you enjoyed this video. You can find us at bchtechnologies.com or locally here in Greensboro, North Carolina. Happy printing, everyone.